I know why you're here. You want to improve your English speaking skills, right? But that means you've got to practice, and how do you do that when there's no one around you to practice with? Well, I'm going to show you. Let's get cracking. Alright mate, I'm Dan and I'm here to help you stop being an English student and start being an English speaker. In today's video, I'm going to show you some really easy techniques that you can use to practice speaking in English even if you're on your own. Now don't get me wrong, improving your English speaking is not an easy thing to do. Trust me, I know. Like, improving your grammar skills is not automatically going to make you a better English speaker. Listening to English podcasts and understanding native speakers is not necessarily going to make you a better English speaker. But do you know what will make you a better English speaker? Practicing speaking. I always think it's a bit like guitar, right? If I want to play guitar, the only way I'm going to do that is by actually playing the guitar. Sure, I could look at YouTube videos or I could read textbooks, but it's not actually going to make me a better guitar player. The only thing that does that is practicing playing guitar. The same thing is true for English speaking. Now today, I've got 3 levels of English speaking practice I want to share with you. We've got the easy mode, we've got the intermediate mode, and we've got expert mode. The idea is you start in the easy mode and work your way up to expert mode. So the first one I've got for you today, we're going to call it easy mode because it's pretty easy to do. And it's called the shadowing technique. Now this technique is basically listen to a native speaker and copy what they said. See, I told you it were easy. So I want to give you a bit of an example how this works. We're going to start with your phone, go to the YouTube app. Then you're going to find a video that you want to practice with and you're going to listen to one line of audio, like this.
Recently, I met up with an old school friend who I hadn't seen for years.
Then you're going to copy it. Recently, I met up with an old school friend who I haven't seen for years. Right? You listen, you repeat, and then you do that all the way through the video. Now this is great because it helps you practice a few different skills at the same time. You're going to practice things like pronunciation, intonation, word stress, and all that stuff that'll help you express what you're trying to say more easily. You're also going to get used to how native speakers structure their sentences and use grammar naturally. And that's why this is such a powerful technique. It's easy to do, it's free to do, and you don't need anyone else buzzing. So the next practice level I've got for you is intermediate mode, and it's a little bit more difficult than the easy mode. Obviously, that's why it's called intermediate mode, but it has the same general idea with one big difference. So we're gonna start in the same way we did with the shadowing technique, and that means opening your phone and going to YouTube. And we're going to find a video we want to practice with. I'm just going to use the same one. The difference here is that we listen to the audio from the native speaker, but then we try and express the same idea in a different way. Basically pretend that you've heard a story and then you're going to tell one of your mates about it later on. I'll show you what I mean. First of all, listen to the audio.
Recently, I met up with an old school friend who I hadn't seen for years.
Good. Then I'm going to try and express that same idea using different words and a different perspective. She said that she met up with an old friend from her school days that she hadn't seen for a long time. Now I'm not using the exact same words that she used, but I'm expressing the same idea in my own way. And this is really, really good for speaking practice for a number of different reasons. The first reason is that you get to practice expressing an idea in a slightly original way. Another reason is that you're still going to get your mouth moving, which will improve your pronunciation, your word stress, your intonation, and all that good stuff. And finally, you don't even need to think that much because they've already given you most of the material. You just need to restructure it in your own way. Sounds pretty good to me. Don't know about you, but for me, that sounds pretty good. So now the final stage today, we're going to call expert mode, because it's the hardest one in this video. And this is where things start to get a bit more interesting. This stage is called your own version. And it's as simple as it sounds. you're going to listen to something, and you're going to talk about the same topic in your own way. Once again, we're starting on YouTube, and by this point, you've probably worked out that YouTube is pretty good for people who are learning English. So once again, we head to YouTube, we find a YouTube video we want to work with. It's the same one as before, and we're going to listen to the audio.
Recently, I met up with an old school friend who I hadn't seen for years.
Okay, so she's talking about an old school friend that she hadn't seen for years, and I'm going to use this as a prompt to make my own sentences. For example, recently I met a friend who I haven't seen for a few years. They came to my hometown and together we went to get some food. It was really fun. Now, you'll notice that I'm not exactly writing an essay here. I'm just making a few sentences about a new topic, and this is really good practice because it'll help you express yourself when you're talking about topics that maybe you don't talk about every day. Now at this stage it gets easier to make mistakes, but I don't want you to worry about making mistakes. Mistakes are not necessarily a bad thing. I just want you to become comfortable in expressing yourself in new ways, and we can build on those skills over time. So there we have the 3 levels of English speaking practice. First, we've got shadowing. Second, we've got reformulation. And third, my own version. And all of these techniques will help you practice your English speaking skills, even if you're on your own. But actually, I've got a bit of a bonus tip for you today. You can also use the internet, which is pretty good, to find other people to practice with, even if there's no one near you. For example, you might want to consider joining the study squad. You might be asking yourself, what is the study squad? Well, it's a group of highly motivated English learners that want to work together to practice their English speaking skills. Sounds good, right? Basically, if you join me on Patreon, you join the study squad, and then you get access to my Discord server where you can chat with other people, you can ask questions about English, you can also go in the voice room and actually practice speaking English with other people. But wait, there's more! You can also join my weekly chinwag, which is a Zoom meeting where we all get together, we chat together on Zoom about various topics, and everyone gets to practice their English speaking together. If you're interested, it's pretty easy to join. Check the link in the description, and I hope to see you in there soon, and we can practice English speaking together. Now, all of the stuff in this video will help you practice your English speaking, but they won't actually help you have better conversations. In order to improve your conversational skills, you need to practice some other things. So if I were you, next I'd watch this video over here because it'll help you put your ideas together and express yourself more naturally in English.